Once upon a time, there were two men who lived vastly different lives. One was wealthy, residing in a grand mansion, adorned with exotic flowers in its vast gardens. Servants attended to his every need, ensuring his comfort at all times. He wore only the finest silk garments, indulged in the most exquisite delicacies, and spent his days immersed in lavish banquets and entertainment. To him, life was effortless, filled with luxury and pleasure. The other man, however, lived in utter poverty. His name was Lazarus, a frail and emaciated figure wrapped in tattered rags, his skin rough and cracked from constant exposure to the scorching sun and biting cold. Hunger and suffering were his daily reality, and his sole wish was to have a full stomach and a place to shield him from the elements. Lazarus often sat outside the rich man's home, inhaling the mouth-watering aroma of roasted meats and spices drifting from within. His stomach rumbled with hunger as he longed for even a few crumbs from the lavish table. However, the servants ignored him, sometimes even shooing him away with brooms as if he were an inconvenience. The rich man occasionally noticed Lazarus, but never spared him a second thought. He continued his extravagant lifestyle, clinking glasses with his guests, utterly indifferent to the suffering around him. He firmly believed that the fate of the poor was none of his concern, that the world was inherently unjust, and such divisions were simply the natural order of things. But one day, the inevitable happened. Lazarus passed away. His frail body lay abandoned on the streets, unnoticed until angels descended, gently lifting his soul and carrying him to a realm of peace and joy. In this place, the sun was warm, the air was fragrant with blossoms, and he never had to endure hunger or pain again. He was placed beside Abraham, receiving comfort and love like never before. Shortly after, the rich man also passed away. His funeral was grand, attended by countless mourners who spoke of his wealth and influence. However, when his soul awakened, he found himself surrounded by roaring flames in a place of torment. Thirst and agony consumed him as the unbearable heat scorched his very being. He desperately searched for relief and, in the distance, saw Lazarus resting peacefully. The rich man cried out in anguish, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to dip his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am suffering in these flames." His voice trembled with despair, but Abraham replied, "My child, remember that in your lifetime you received good things, while Lazarus endured suffering. Now he is comforted here, and you are in torment." Abraham continued, "Besides all this, there is a great chasm between us. No one can cross from here to you, nor can anyone pass from there to us." The rich man, in desperation, pleaded, "Then, please send Lazarus to warn my family, to tell my brothers so that they do not end up in this place of torment. They are still alive and have a chance to choose differently." But Abraham responded, "They have already been given wisdom and guidance to live righteously. If they refuse to listen, not even a miracle will change their hearts." This story teaches us an important lesson. The true value of life is not measured by how much we possess, but by how much we are willing to share. Wealth itself is not evil, but when it blinds the heart, it leads to true poverty. If a person lives solely for pleasure while turning a blind eye to suffering, they may one day find themselves in an irreversible fate. Compassion and kindness toward those in need do not just help others, they enrich our own souls. The story of Lazarus and the rich man reminds us of the importance of empathy and generosity. The way we treat those around us is the true measure of our life's worth. True wealth is not defined by money, but by the love and care we offer to others. In the end, a person is not remembered for their accumulated riches, but for the warmth and hope they brought to the world.